Hi, everyone. Welcome back to How Love Bites. As you'll notice, I have my our co-host, Steve, is back with us.
And we're together.
We're together. We're actually together. And I'm not going to be touching shoulders or anything just to prove it to you. All right, that's Director. Did he get the memo on the no touching the host?
Our sexual harassment policy is very liberal at How Love Bites.
All right. Well, we got a beauty for you today. We do. So let's get right to it. I'll deal with my co-host later. Ladies and gentlemen, my hope for you is, and that's the name of this show today. My hope for you is that you choose people that choose you. Remember that, okay? Choose them, but let them choose you first. And make sure that they're choosing you, okay? Because I hope you realize that the bare minimum isn't actually ever your choice. It's just really not. I hope you realize that when it's actually real, you don't have to beg someone to stay in your life. Because if you're doing that, man, you are not with the right person. And you need to know that as soon as you can, okay? It's just really, it would behoove you to. So I hope you also realize that you don't have to prove to someone that you're worthy of their love. You have nothing to prove. The right people will choose you, and they truly will. I hope you realize that inconsistency might just mean that someone isn't that interested in you. Okay, so think about that. I hope you take people's actions over their words, because their actions most likely will never lie. But the words, wow. You heard the Indians talk about that forked tongue, right? Okay, because people will show you how they feel about you. They can say whatever they want, but believe what they show you. I hope you don't settle. I hope you realize that just because they want you to believe what they show you, but I hope you don't settle. That's the bottom line here. Just don't settle. I hope you realize that just because they didn't see your value doesn't mean you're not valuable. Okay? It's got nothing to do with that. And who are they to determine your value? Something you've been working on your whole life. You know what your value is, and never lose that. Always stay on top of that. I hope that you realize that one day you will be loved. It's coming. Okay? So just please hang on. And just because in the past you haven't doesn't mean it's not out there waiting for you. So my hope for you is that you'll never give up. Please don't give up. Please don't.
All right. Well, Dennis, that, I like some hope. But I think what you're saying, just to play this back, is you got to be careful to not be smoking hopium. You want to, hope is not a strategy. It's good to have some hope. But like we've talked about in previous shows, what I'm hearing you say is it's you don't want to overly pursue. You don't want to be chasing somebody too much. You don't want to be desperate. We talked about it. You don't want to beg. Mm-hmm. But let me ask you something.
Sure.
As I hear you talking, sage, wise man with more experience in this space. It sounds a little bit to me like you're saying it's always better. We've talked about it. Never give more than you get, like the song goes.
Correct.
If you give more than you get, you're in danger. Mm-hmm. Danger, heartbreak ahead. Mm-hmm. But where's the line here? Because if you're saying don't give more than you get and don't overly pursue, don't keep chasing, that makes sense. You're protecting your heart. Mm-hmm. And you're also not reeking of desperation and all that. But are you saying that you should pursue less than the other person? I mean, it's starting to sound like a little bit to me like let the ball come to you. Don't go to the ball. Don't chase too much. Where's the balance in that? Because I'm sure there's going to be ladies out there and gentlemen in our audience that really believe the chase is part of the the part of the act is the chase, right? Part of the fun is the chase. So where's the line between pursuit and, really showing someone that you love them and, flowers or whatever without love bombing? We've talked about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But am I misreading you? Where's the line between, kind of a vigorous pursuit and not overly pursuing or not chasing, not being desperate, not begging? You talk to me about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, that is a very good question. It's a very interesting question also. And I think that line is wherever you draw that line for you and whatever you're comfortable with. And if you find yourself in a situation where you keep investing in giving more, hoping for more yourself, and you're not getting it, then you've got to reset your line. And you better do it quickly, because if it's too obvious that you're backing off and resetting your line, it's obviously going to be obvious to them.
Sure.
And if they read that, they're just either going to think you're losing interest, or maybe and this is a lady's favorite. Okay, most ladies will mention in their profile, I don't play games. I don't want to play any games. I'm not into games. And so if they sense that you're playing some sort of a game, I think that is going to, it's going to end your ability to seek,
and I would agree with that. I wouldn't, I don't want to play games either.
Yeah.
But in a way, I'm just going to play counterpoint a little bit today.
Go ahead.
Isn't the fact that you really like this person.
Yeah.
And you're saying back off and don't, these are your hopes for our audience, for people dating over 50. But isn't this in effect playing a game? Aren't you by deliberately, if you still like the person and you're backing off, in a way, isn't this part of the dance? Maybe it's not manipulative.
No, it's not, because you know what it's called? It's called strategy. And if you don't enter into a relationship and strategize, then you are going in that relationship with your pants around your knees, not necessarily your ankles. And I know, tut. Okay,
careful.
Yes.
Okay.
And believe me, I made sure that
what you meant by that was not.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, no. But you got to have some strategy, because you just can't go into a relationship, the hopes of a relationship, willy-nilly. You just can't do it. So you better have some kind of strategy, because if you don't, they're going to impose a strategy on you. Okay. And so I think, and that strategy can be whatever they have been doing most likely in their whole life in their relationships. And so, there's the old adage too, which I don't know if I'm really, I believe in, and that's the person that likes less or the person that loves less controls the relationship.
Yeah.
So, and the one that's really grandiose, the one that's really over the top, I think that is the one that is, by their actions and maybe by their words also, are probably the ones that are going to give away their hand if there's any strategy.
Right.
And so then it depends on your.
Yeah, because I got to tell you, and I'm newer back into circulation after a very long marriage. I probably am not a good poker player. I'm probably not a good poker player in this. And I think part of what you're saying is your hope and wish for people and to not be begging and not overly pursue. I mean, let's be honest. I think what you're saying works. We know it back to junior high and high school, whether you call it playing hard to get or whether you're playing and just not. Somehow it seems like, and I'm going to speak as a man, mostly the ladies, it does seem like the ladies react well to that. I've never been able to figure it out. I've also never been able to figure out why they're attracted to the bad boy thing, although we are going to talk a little bit more about that triad.
They are.
We're going to talk more about that triad that deals with some psychological things behind that in a future show.
I think because the sister can't protect them. And one of the biggest things about women is women want one thing from a man that always stands out, whether they own it or not, and that is safe. They want to feel safe.
Sure.
With whoever they're with.
Sure.
Okay, because that gives them the freedom
Okay,
to
but
be
and I buy into that. We talked about safety and security and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We talked about that in a previous show. But somewhere between being safe and secure, and then this idea that this is really a strategy, not a game. I believe what you're saying, and I think it is good to not overly pursue. But I can't say that I've I guess my point is I haven't necessarily figured out the why with women, and we're coppers, so we always are looking at the why.
Sometimes,
I think I'm going to make my good thing we're video casting this because my head is about to pop.
Well,
and brain matter is about to go all over this.
If you're looking for the why, I'm going to go get a sandwich in the meantime, and then you can let me
Come
know.
back in a couple
You
hours.
gotta come back in a couple of days, maybe. And if you find out what that might be, let me know.
So we're not that worried about the why in summary, but you're saying, and I like what you said. This is a hope for our audience. And once again, though, even though there's just a handful of years between us age-wise, old wise and sage ones, but you are more experienced on. On
not by my choice, let me tell you.
You are more experienced in the dating world.
I've been leveraged a few times to figure it out while I was hanging over the cliff.
If Dennis was a fisherman, he would practice catch and release quite. And we've been caught and released. And here's the love bites. Here's the love bites.
Here's with the bites. I can't show you mine, but okay. Okay.
Well, okay. In closing, I think this has been good, and the message. I think you have some hope for us about things you want for us and don't want for us, but there's a message for the men and a message for the women. It's a little different, but one is back to that theme of don't overly pursue. Don't if you really do love someone, it's going to work out. And your point is, you need a strategy. And it's really not game playing. It's not manipulation.
No.
You need a strategy. And part of that strategy is backing the hell off. And as men, maybe it's a little harder for us. The hormones flow. We're wired a little different than women. It's hard for us to back the hell off.
It can be, sure.
From the ladies' perspective, I wonder, and again, we're going to ask for comments. I'd like to hear comments from you ladies on what your perspective is. You may not even be aware of it. My reaction is, Dennis is right. What he's saying works. I wonder if you ladies think about, why does that work? Is it that you can't get something that you want, or you had something and now it's kind of taken away from you? Or is it that now something is taken away and you didn't know what you had until it was gone? Or is it D, all the above? It could be all the above. So, with that said, this show, we're having a great time doing it. We are taking ideas for future shows. We have some really interesting ones coming up. Sometimes they're a little lighter fare. Sometimes they get into some deep psychology and stuff. We're just a couple regular guys who've been love bitten, and we've given some love bites. This is about dating over 50. Please hit like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. And watch us on www.howlovebites.com. You can also submit comments here on YouTube, or you can email Dennis and I, but email us, Dennis@howlovebites.com for show ideas. I'd be really curious to see what some of our ladies think about your opening monologue.
I'd like to hear their,
you gave an opening monologue.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm getting used to a consistent theme with you. Damn you, Dennis. I think you're right.
Oh, boy.
It's
only a matter of time, my brother.
It's starting to piss me off, but damn it, I think you're right about a lot of these things. And I play back, unfortunately, I play back things in my marriage or dating since, and you realize like, that was not strategy. That was Dana Carvey imitating George Bush. That was strategery. That wasn't good strategery at all. Maybe I need better strategy. My weekends might be a little busier like yours are. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you in the future. And this is Dennis and Steve signing off. She sells seashells. Signing off from the How Love Bites show. And we will see you in the future.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to the next time.
Thank you.